everyone. Welcome back. Hello to my Mafians. Hello, AJ, once again. You are listening to the Too Clever Mafia podcast, and I am your host, Clever Mafia. Yes, wait for the applause to finish. Hello, everyone. Well, we have a great show lined up for you today, and AJ, how was your... We're back kind of after a long holiday weekend. We were here in the U.S. celebrating our Independence Day in July 4th, and we are finally back. But we didn't skip a beat. Okay, we here, AJ, right? We were recording. We were doing all of the things we usually do on our podcast and getting all the great content ready for all of our listeners all around the world, which keeps spreading, and I can't thank all of our listeners enough. So definitely drop us a line over at tooclevermafia.com. That's www.tooclevermafia.com. And let us know how you're doing. We love to hear from you, right, AJ? So we have a great show lined up today. We are going to be going over our top comedians of 2020 list, and we have some great comedians on the list. We also have some great comedians of all time also we were going to throw in the mix. But you know what, I want to tell you a little story, AJ, what happened yesterday, and it happened again. It happened again, folks. So my grandkids, they like to go into the Golden Arches, right? They like their hamburgers and their chicken nuggets. So it's not the best thing in the world, but in today's day and age and what's going on in the world, it is what it is. So it's kind of it's kind of getting out of the house, just going through a drive-through. So we go to the drive-through, right, AJ? And I had the little ones with me. When I say little, one of them is in his 20s, and then I had my other grandchild he's 15, and we went there, and so we go to the drive-through. Well, I'll back it up a bit. We went around the whole town, okay, because the weather was bad, and you might know yesterday the weather was bad where we are, and we went to the local. The first hamburger place has the little red-headed girl as the icon, right? I'm not going to do branding because I don't want to give anybody props that doesn't deserve it on our show. We're not going to do free advertising anymore unless they deserve it or have earned it, right? So we go to the little red-headed, she's got the pigtails. We go to there to get the hamburger. We pull up. As I pull up, it looked like a mail truck. Now, I don't know if it was a mail truck or not because they kind of fled the scene. But as we pull up to the drive-through, about 200 feet in front of me, I see this truck kind of turn the corner, kind of jump the curb and crash into the sign, which was incredible in its own right. Pieces were everywhere. But then the truck backs up. I could see, we're getting closer, and I could see the driver's face. And the driver had a smile on his face and pulled back over. It was like a corral almost, and he goes over it, boom, boom, and drives off. And I thought, I just witnessed a hit and run. But, I have the grandkids in the car, and they were astonished. They were laughing, of course, because it's funny, but I couldn't believe it, and I'm like, well, what's going on? And there was an employee there, and what it looked like to me and what it actually was, as we pulled up closer, was different. It ended up being, I think, things were already broken, and he kind of was running over them, and the only way to get out of the drive-thru was to back up and kind of get over this little hump. So anyway, we pull up, he clears the area, and in order to go to this particular drive-thru, you kind of got to go around the whole building. I think you know which one I'm talking about, right, AJ? Yep. You got to go around the whole building. So we went around the whole building, and we pull into the drive-thru, and they say, we're waiting. And then someone comes to the microphone. Sorry, we're closed. We had to reboot all our systems. Our credit card and payment machines are down. It's going to be about 25 minutes. So there, you know what I'm going to say, AJ. There was no way I was sitting in the car with my grandkids for 25 minutes waiting to get a hamburger. About 3 or 4 miles down the road, there's another fast food place. So the 50-year-old grandchild said to me, Grandpa, or they said, hey, let's go to this one. This particular place is how should I say this? The royal hierarchy of hamburgers. He's the royal monarch, if you will, right? So we go to this Royal Monarch hamburger place. We pull up, we go to and it's surprisingly it was the lunch hour. And usually these days at the fast food places during the lunch hour, the buildings are, I mean, these places are packed. They're busy because that's where you can't go really in a place. And if you're in a rush or you don't really want to, you go and order and pick up and wait, you're in the drive-thru somewhere. So we go to this other place, and there's nobody in the drive-thru. We're like, well, okay, this is either great timing or something's wrong. And now the weather's kind of bad. It's rainy and windy. So I pull up. First, nobody waiting. Go in. They say hello, and they say, we're down for 20 minutes now because of we lost power twice and we had to reboot our systems. So we're going to be down about 20 minutes. We got to reheat all of our machines. And, I don't know what their inner workings are, but I'm like, wow, okay. So this ain't meant to be at this point, right, AJ? So this is just a bad day. And I don't know how this always happens to me. I really don't. I mean, I don't go out looking for it. I don't ask for it, but I just wrote on my arm with my pen here, AJ. Gonna have to get a cleaner for that. But anyway, so we went around. And, of course, on the other side of the highway, about 2 miles in the other direction, there's the Golden Arches, right, which I'd mentioned earlier. So we end up going through the drive-thru. Now, this place has got a line, and I'm thinking, okay, there's 3 or 4 cars. I hear the people ordering in front of me as I'm waiting. Perfect. And so now I'm thinking everything's going to be okay, right? So we pull up the menu board, right? And we order. I order what my grandkids tell me they want and all of that and stuff. And I actually ordered myself a Diet Coke. It's a $1, You're $1, you can get any size you want where I am. So I said, $1 for a Diet Coke. Why not? And then they give you like 5 gallons of it for $1. Why not take it? So anyway, pull around as we're waiting, because now there's a car. There's 2 windows at this particular place, right? And there's 2 windows, and that the first one you pay, the second one you pick up your food, right? So while we're waiting, because there's a couple of cars, and like I said, it was busy, there's cars in front of us, my oldest grandson says, hey, I have this receipt from the last time I visited, and if I take this quick survey on my phone, I can get, one of your items you can get for free. And I'm like, okay, I'm quite thrifty, I like to use a coupon, right? Like, sure, go ahead and take the survey. So he takes the survey on his phone, writes the little number. Now, all this while we're waiting, writes the little number on the top of the receipt. It's like a survey on the quality and how we enjoyed our stay at the last time we were there, which he saved from the last time we went, which didn't go too well. So we pull up to the window, and so in between us ordering, which I would have ordered ahead of time, but in between us ordering and paying, we found the coupon and we did the survey and all that. With, 2-3 minutes maybe. And I get to the cashier window, and I say, hey, to the young lady, I said, can we use this coupon for a free order, to take off one of our items off of our order? And she said, sure, no problem. I just have to get the manager to override it. And she seemed very familiar with it. Didn't seem like a problem. So I'm not paying much attention. I'm chatting with my grandkids in the car. And so then this man pokes his head out the window. And no mask, by the way. And they're supposed to have masks on. So I was taken back by that. And he leans out the window towards my car and says, this coupon number is no good. And I said, well, okay, my first thought is, well, maybe my grandson wrote it down wrong. And he holds it up. But before he even gives me a chance to show him the number, which is clearly the same as on the paper, I mean, he's got very good handwriting, he starts chastising me. He starts saying, we're going to take it this time, but don't let it happen again. And I'm thinking to myself, who are you, sir, to sit here at the drive-through window? And I spent, it was a $40 or $50 tab because of all the food I had to get for everyone. And we were bringing food back also for others. And and Mrs. Mafia and all of that, and they were at home, and we were bringing food back, and like, who are you, sir, to complain again for a $5 coupon that we're giving you? And then he went on and on. And I said, whoa, hold on a second. And this, usually I don't do this, but I said, hold on a second. I was like, sir, I said, do not talk this way to me. I said, your coupon, your app gave us this coupon number. We put it on there. And I said, if you need to go to the King of the Golden Arches or whoever it is, this is not my responsibility. I followed your procedure that you laid out to the letter. Here's the coupon code. Do what you need to do. And he went on and on and on. And I said, sir, I do not want to discuss this anymore. And I really felt at this point he was implying that I was using a fake coupon, AJ. And I said that's how I felt. Like that he felt I was he was accusing me of ripping him off for a nugget. Really. And this isn't the first time I've experienced this, but let me continue. So I got his name, and I said, what is your name, sir? And he told me, and I should tell everybody else too, but he said he's been there for 35 years now. I've been going to this establishment for well over 35 years, and I've never seen him once. So I don't know what he did. Maybe he got a promotion, but he said he was in charge, the general manager, right? He's the top dog. He's the head guy on the pole, like really. But anyway, so I tell him, I said, hey, listen, you take the coupon. I have other things to do. And he was going back and forth, and I paused his speech. I said, hold on one moment. I was like, I'm going to accept your apology before you even apologize, because this has nothing to do with me. I'm the customer, and I'm always right, even though customers aren't always right, but they're always the customer. And I said, I will be proceeding to the next window. Here's my payment, and I expect my food. And I said, I want your name. I want your rank. I didn't say serial number. No, AJ. But I said, I will be on my next receipt making sure the people that want to know are going to know how I felt I was treated today. Right? So he then tells me, after first implying that my number is wrong, and then I showed him the phone. My grandson handed me the phone, and I showed him the number on the phone, and that was right. So then he conceded to say, well, I do apologize. Our systems were wrong and we were incorrect. And then his tone changed a little bit, but I was very unhappy. And you know what? I don't think I will ever go back there. I will not. And that is this. And after the last time, AJ, if you remember, I vowed not to go back to these places. My grandkids keep dragging me into these crazy things, and I get stuck in them, and it's too much. It's too much. I'm getting too old for this stuff. There's a line in the movie. I'm getting too old for this. I'm getting too old for this stuff, AJ. I have an adventure when I head out to get fast food. It shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't. So we got a great show coming up for you today. We got some great content. We're gonna talk about some great people, and we will be right back after this short break. I gotta go get some. By the way, I didn't finish my soda, so I'm gonna go get some of that soda out of the back office here and get a little sip of it, and we're gonna jump right into our comedians of 2020 list right after this. Be right back. Well, thank you, AJ. Welcome back, Mafians. We are going to get right into it today, into our Comedians of 2020 show. And, well, we're going to have a few classic comedians as well. And, before we get into this, though, AJ, we got to get a wireless headset for myself here, because I have this wired headset, folks, and this wire finds its way everywhere it's not supposed to be. During the break, I felt like I felt like I was rolling on the floor, wrapped up in this thing, and it was like an anaconda, like strangling me. It's a great headset, but this wire is way too long. I need something wireless. I feel like if I turn my head, I whip it around, it curls around my head like an ice cream cone swirl. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to get right into this Comedians 2020 episode, even though I got this wire here, which keeps getting on my nerves. Anyway, so what we're going to talk about today is, comedians and comedy comes in all shapes and sizes, right, folks? And I'm talking about types of comedy, not necessarily the genre, the style. You have deadpan, improv. You got that physical stuff. Some great physical comedians out there. The people that do props. You got the shock humor. You got spoofs. Things like that. We're going to talk about start by the different types of comedy, and that's how we're going to kind of go through this list, because you got your stand-up comedy, and then you got your sitcom comedies, and then you've got your comedy movies, and then I guess last but not least, really not in no particular order, you have your sketch comedies like your Saturday Night Live, which has produced some wonderful entertainment over the years. Been around forever. One of my favorite shows at one point. So we're gonna take a look and really kind of go through some comedians, and I'm going to review some of the top ones that I have kind of put together, as well as some comments that this also came from. Should we give out the hashtag? Well, it's on our Twitter account. If you check out our Twitter, you'll see who recommended it, because I believe we pinned the tweet. Is that what we do? We pin the tweet? But some of our top comedy shows and comedy stand-ups and things like that, we kind of added into it as well. So this is really in no particular order. So I'm going to go down the list, and then there's a couple of folks that I'm going to elaborate on because they deserve it. And that's what we're going to do. It's my show, right? So we're going to start off with one that we've spoken about before. Let's go down the list first, and then we'll elaborate, right? So you guys can hear everybody we're going to be chatting about. So we'll start off, again, this is no particular order. One of the top people we've gotten votes for was Melissa McCarthy, a great comedian, has done a lot of movies and film, was on SNL. I love that skit. She did a skit where, I think it was ranch dressing. Unbelievable. She would taste, do you remember, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, if you haven't seen that skit with Melissa McCarthy, she does a skit where she tastes the ranch dressing. She's doing like a focus group, and I remember correctly, she tastes and then they're asking her, the focus group to describe the flavors, and one of the things she's like, I'm getting a big hint of kiwi, and I'm like, wow, it was hilarious. You got to check it out, AJ, if you haven't seen. No, you haven't seen. Oh, you got something to do tonight. All right, next on the list would be we got Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy's been around a while, done some voiceover work for some cartoons and skits on Saturday Night Live as well. Some great movies, but really his stand-up. He did some stand-up specials, kind of rated R stand-up specials back in the day. Hilarious stuff. We got Amy Schumer. I actually saw her live. Where'd I see her? I think it was Staten Island, New York. I saw her the St. George Theater, I believe. Yeah, she's a funny lady. Andrew Dice Clay back in the day. We got Joan Rivers, also great comedian in her own right. Jim Gaffigan, he's a funny man. Kevin James is going to be on our list. Ellen DeGeneres. We're going way back. We got Richard Pryor and Jim Carrey and Wanda Sykes. And Lucille Ball is going to be somebody we're going to talk about. I mean, even though she's way, way back. Very funny lady. So here we go. Speaking of AJ, so you ever look at a comedian and you'd say, before they even say anything, or before they even tell a joke, and then you're already kind of smiling because just them standing there kind of makes you laugh. Do you ever wonder why that is? No? Yeah. Yeah, you ever, like there's certain folks like, Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell. You look at that man, and if he is ever in a serious movie, it's very hard to take him seriously, but he just, one of those guys who holds his face, and it's like, you're just waiting for a joke. You're waiting for him to make you laugh. He's going to make you laugh. I don't know how he does it. Don't know the psychology behind it, but maybe someone can explain it to me, email me, or leave a tweet. But just, you look at the guy, and he just makes you laugh. There's a few comedians that I've come across that, I mean, I'm sure maybe other people have their special comedian that does that for them. Maybe it's just somebody you find very humorous. Like, Like Will Ferrell, I could watch him in any movie. Don't care how good it is. Don't care how bad. Don't matter how many rotten tomatoes or turned over trash baskets or whatever they use, popcorn bags. The movie gets, or what's that on IMDb? I don't care. I could watch him in anything. He did Ron Burgundy. Yeah, I know, AJ. You know that's one of my more favorite flicks, if you will. But did you know Will Ferrell? There's something called the Frat Pack. No, not the Rat Pack. That was with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis. Yeah, yeah. No, no. The Frat Pack. Actually, from what I understand, Frat Pack was I believe Jack Black, Ben Stiller, Steve Carell, Vince Vaughn, the Owen brothers, Owen and I'm sorry, the Owen brothers, the Wilson brothers, Owen and Luke Wilson. There might have been others in there. I'm not really 100% sure, but Will Ferrell used to work at Wells Fargo. Yeah, yeah, he was a from what I understand, he was a teller at Wells Fargo, and the story goes, and I think he had said this, but the first day he worked there, he was short like $300, and not because he was stealing or anything, because he was just really not great with math. But this is Wells Fargo. I don't know how good with math they are in general, but it might not have been Wells Fargo his fault. But then they say the second day he was also short like $280. So somebody who in that town, got a little over $500 richer, and the bank got a $500 poorer, which who knows? Some may say that bank deserves what they get after some of the shenanigans they pulled over the last few years, but I'm not going to go on that rant. But yeah, he used to work at a bank. And there's something called Groundlings. They're in LA. It's like an improv sketch. And when I was out in LA, I kind of saw this place too, but they kind of do sketch comedy, kind of like if you've ever heard, I don't know if AJ's heard of this, but if you ever heard of Second City, I think they're in Chicago. They also do things if you go on a cruise. Sometimes they'll have the Second City comedy stand-up show. It's like an improv thing, but kind of like along those lines. But Will was on Saturday Night Live for, I think, 7 or 8 years. And his first movie, from what I was able to find, was a spot in Austin Powers in 97. And then he did silly movie, one of my favorites. He did the Night at the Roxbury, just a silly movie, but that was in 98. Then his first movie after leaving Saturday Night Live was Old School, which had Vince Vaughn in it, member of the Frat Pack. I just saw a movie with him, Eurovision. Not how'd I like? Yeah, not. I liked it because it was a Will Ferrell movie. That's about as far as I'm gonna go. If I was trying to be completely objective, it was okay. I mean, it was a silly movie. I don't know. I don't know much about the Eurovision Song Contest, and I guess for folks that really knew a lot about it, created this movie about the Eurovision Song Contest, and it's a Will Ferrell movie. I'd watch it just because it's his movie, like I said, not necessarily because it's great or not, but not one of my top movies, I guess. It's on the list of his movies, but not one of my top. Who I just saw too, speaking of just watching another comedy person, I just saw Jim Jeffries. Did you see his new stand-up special? No? What do you do, AJ? Do you watch any? Do you just sit in the sound booth when I leave, and then you're there in the morning when I come in? Because you do stay late, and you are here early. But what do you do in your free time? You bowl. Well, okay, so you go bowling, which is fun. But how are you bowling now? Aren't the bowling alleys all closed? On your phone you play bowl. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So I saw his special, and I actually saw him live as well. I saw him live in Philadelphia. Back before he had his Comedy Central show, I think. But very funny man, Australian. Is he one of those guys you just look at and you're getting ready to laugh? No, but I think his sense of humor is very in part because he's Australian and the accent makes some things funny, but he has a lot of good points. A lot of good points when he went through his comedy, which you can kind of relate to, I guess. Next, okay, so get Jim Carrey here, right? So there's a story about Jim Carrey I'll share with you. So Jim Carrey, he practices. He's been around a while. He did Dumb and Dumber. He did Ace Ventura, all that kind of jazz. He's done some serious flicks, and he, Liar Liar was another one, great movie. And he, was it Dick and Jane? He did that movie too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. AJ just reminded me that I actually like that movie. So, but he practices visualization, right? So, as the story goes, about 7 years before he did Dumb and Dumber, he visualized. The story goes, he took a check and put a $10 million check in his pocket, and wrote it for services rendered for comedy or something along those lines. And 7 years later, as he explained, he received a $10 million check for Dumb and Dumber. Is that crazy? He kind of willed it to happen. I mean, he's a funny man. I mean, with or without that check in his pocket, I mean, he was destined for greatness, but very, very funny man. He's got dual citizenship too, Canada and U.S., AJ. I know you want to visit Canada. Maybe, you'll catch him up there. I don't know how often he travels back. And I think he definitely lives in the United States for the most part. I mean, I'm not sure about that. You have to look that up. But, here's one. What about Kevin James? Now, Kevin James, to me, along with Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell, are one of those guys you look at and you're just waiting for a joke. He's one of those guys that just makes you smile. And there's one other guy on my list, and I'll tell you in a moment. But so over the weekend, I happened to catch this movie called Becky, and Mrs. Mafia wanted to watch it, and she said Kevin James is in it, and it's kind of a thriller, a dark thriller, if you will. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of strange for Kevin James, right? You think of Kevin James from his TV shows and his kind of comedy movies that he's done. And I sat down and watched this movie, and before I went into this movie, I got to tell you, I said, this is going to be a movie that I'm just going to laugh. I didn't feel I could take this movie seriously. I didn't feel, and even the preview kind of gave me this sense where, I was just waiting for Kevin James it was like he was doing a character, just keeping a straight face, but not, you were going to laugh anyway. So I sat down and watched this movie. And I don't want to spoil it, but it was dark. It was dark. I mean, I don't think it was Kevin James' best performance, in my personal opinion. But as far as him being a serious actor and take, which I went into it thinking I'm not going to be able to hold a straight face, he did pretty good. It took me a couple of minutes to get used to it. He has his head shaved in the movie. He's got a beard. He's got some very anti-Semitic pictures on the back of his head, tattoos, for the movie. And it was a character I was like, well, how did they find Kevin James for this? I don't know the story behind it. I'd love to hear it, how he decided to do this script or what made him do it. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I mean, I could see him as a villain, a bad fella. He's a villain in the movie. And I'm like, wow. And there were some scenes, some eye-popping scenes, hint, hint, in that movie, and it wasn't bad. Some of the acting, there's a young girl in it who's Becky. Why I gotta find out her name, but that movie, she was great. She acted unbelievably. The craziness that was displayed in that movie by her, I definitely give her a lot of credit. She did very, very, very good acting. What was her name? I don't want to not say it here. Lulu Wilson. I thought she acted incredible. I thought her acting was the best in the whole movie. Better than Kevin James. I mean, Kevin James was the face that you knew and I felt he would have been horribly typecast as, the funny man. But no, he broke out of that typecast role. And if he does another movie like that with some more seriousness into it, I think he could do it. I think he can. Who else was in that movie? Joel McHale, um, Amanda Brugel. She was the soon-to-be stepmom, but I don't want to spoil the movie. Definitely worth a watch if you got nothing to do on a Saturday night. But so that's Kevin James, but he's a funny man. He's fun. He just makes me laugh. He's on that show King of Queens with the reruns I watch now with Stiller and he was a funny man as well. Yeah, it made me laugh most on that show, but the duo paired up nicely. So, and then, so here's one I wanted to add in, another comedian Eddie Murphy also, by the way. Eddie Murphy's one of those guys you look at and you're waiting for, but he can do the serious role good. He did like another 48 Hours. He did Beverly Hills Cop, and he did those action movies that were kind of comedy action flicks. So he was funny but serious, but so a very versatile actor. But the late Chris Farley, also an SNL alumni, just hilarious. A great talent. Left us too early, but a great talent. Another famous. We need to see more talent like that come out and be developed. The world needs more laughs, especially these days. So, what else we got here for comedians? We gave our list down. I'm trying to make sure we didn't miss anyone. No, I think that's our whole list. So, those are our top 2020 comedians that we did talk about. Of course, the current ones, you have like, Amy Schumer, you've got Jim Gaffigan, you got Ellen DeGeneres, she's got her own show now. Jim Carrey, I don't think he does stand-up anymore, but I'm sure he'll probably do a movie again sooner or later. Wanda Sykes, love her comedy. She's on Netflix. She gets a little too political for me, but I watched the first, I think her first stand-up special on Netflix, and very, very funny. Then she kind of gets a little bit too political, and not that I don't find that funny or I don't agree with her. I don't want to hear that. There's enough of that on the TV all day long, so not really interested in any of that stuff. But what about who's your favorite? Well, I mentioned Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball back from I Love Lucy, if you remember, and I used to watch that show and some of the reruns later on with Ricky Ricardo, and very funny stuff. If you know or you think of that show, you remember the some of the scenes that she did. One off the top of my head, I remember the one where she's in the barrel crushing all of the grapes for the wine. Ends up becoming almost like a mud wrestling match. There's a famous scene. Then there's the one with her where she works in the candy factory, and I think she's trying to wrap the candies, and the candies come out slow, and she thinks she's got it all, and then they say, okay, let's go to regular speed, and then the candies come flying out, and she starts eating them and hiding them, and because she, wanted to do the job properly and didn't want to get in trouble by a supervisor that was there. That was a hilarious, way ahead of its time, that comedy. So that's pretty much our conversation today about the top comedy acts, or I would say top comedians that we like on this show, and that our listeners have given us some feedback. Jack Black. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anybody's. Jack Black, also one of the Frat Pack mentioned. He's just a hilarious man. He's got a YouTube channel it blew up overnight, and just such a naturally funny person. Seems genuine. I've never met him, but definitely somebody that I would hang out with. Maybe have a soda pop. You never know. What about Steve Carell? Steve Carell from The Office, right? Michael Scott from The Office. He made that show. He did. Yeah, Will Ferrell was on that show too. But the core group on that show, you had some dry humor, you had some crazy humor, you had some wacky characters, and that combination in that group just made that show. And that show was so great. A lot of them went on. Steve Carell is on. There's a new show on Netflix where he does the Space Commander. He's commander of the Space Force or something like that. And it's okay. I'm only a few episodes in. There's so much on TV, and again, I got to fight the TV and the remote away from Mrs. Mafia to watch anything, or I got to watch what she's watching. So, what else did I do this weekend? Let's see. That's about it. AJ. You just did your bowling. I caught up on a lot of TV shows, a lot of comedy. Do I have an overall number one comedian? I don't know. Let me think. I guess Will Ferrell. I think he's probably my number one. He's put so much out over so much of a long span of time. He's just a funny guy, and I can't wait to see what he does next. We're gonna take a short break. Definitely leave your comments on the YouTube, over on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check us out on Teespring. If you're interested in any of the Tooclevermafia merchandise, t-shirts, cups, bugs, pens, anything, whatever you want. I didn't say bugs, I meant bugs. Bugs, AJ. Bugs, sorry. And we will be right back after this short break. Mafia. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Thank you, AJ. Once again, welcome back, Mafians. We've had a great show today, haven't we, AJ? This has been another top-notch performance by myself, Mr. Clever Mafia, and yourself. I'll give you some credit today. There was some great audio you put out there, AJ. But hey, before we leave, I just wanted to share. Hey, did you see my new watch here? My new iWatch? Yeah. It's a. For those of you, again, we're gonna stick with the trends, and I'm not gonna do my no more free plugs anymore, because we're just not gonna do that. But I got another one of those watches. They're named after a fruit, and goes along with my fruit phone. But I got it monitoring my health. It's got this heart thing on it, and it's got all these fancy gadgets and stuff, and tracks all of my steps. And me, did you hear, AJ? Me and Mrs. Mafia are have been in a contest. Yeah, we started. Apparently, you can compete on these watches, so we both have one, and she's had one for a while, and I finally gave in and said, well, she does all of these exercises and the yogas and the Pilates, and now she started doing the Zumba dance. The Zumba dancing, and I said, I kind of made a wisecrack and got myself in a little bit of trouble because I said, because I go out for evening walks usually, to keep myself tip-top shape, and I couldn't believe how she was getting a lot of credit and a lot of worked up, and I said, this is just dancing. You're standing here and then you're just stepping back. It can't be that hard. I go out and I'll walk 5 miles and I'll come back and I'll be sweating and then she finally dragged me in, and I did one of the Zumba classes with her on the game or video TV, whatever. And let me tell you, my knees felt like rubber. They felt like it was bone on bone. It probably is bone on bone in there, but the next day, my butt, my keister was so sore. My cheeks, toward the hips were so sore. I couldn't even walk. It's a good thing I didn't have to come and record. I wouldn't have been able to sit here in the studio. But, my shoulders, my neck, my jaw, I think my earlobes were hurting. I was so sore, so I will never, ever have something negative to say about Zumba and then the exercises she does, because the pace has got to be 4 to 5 times more, and it's a shorter amount of time. I think she does them for half an hour increments, and it's a shorter amount of time. And wow. The next day, I couldn't even walk. I could barely walk. And then but we're having these contests, so I've got to kind of push myself because she's beaten me. We had two already. We've had two contests already, and she's beat me in both. So it's not looking too promising, AJ. It's not. But we did have a great show for you today. Hope everyone enjoyed themselves. Don't forget to check out our social medias, right, AJ? We're doing the Twitter. We're doing the Instagram. We're doing the Insta. We're doing the Facebook, right? We're not doing Discord anymore. AJ has shut down our Discord according to some sort of security breach. I don't know. We didn't have a security breach, but apparently Discord is not a good place to, from what we've read. It may be wonderful for some people, but from what we read, for what we do, it's just not going to fit our algorithm, So we've gotten rid of the Discord, but you can still reach us everywhere else. You can always go to www.tooclevermafia.com. We listen to us on all the major podcast platforms, as you always have. Yeah, the Anchor, the Apple, the Google. What else are we on? I usually have my notes here, but I don't. Where are they here? Let me see if I can find them. Oh, here they are. There's Spotify, of course. Can't forget our Spotify. And then Breaker, Radio Public, Bullhorn, where we're getting a lot of our listeners from overseas, the UK. So we're even getting some listeners now from Mexico. Very happy to hear that. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the podcast apps themselves. Very important. Kind of gets us up there in the rankings, so we can keep this show running for you. Also check us out over on Teespring. I know AJ's sporting his new shirt. He just got one. Paid full price due. I wouldn't let him use the employee discount. But how's it feel, AJ, to walk around with my mug on your T-shirt all day long? I bet you the ladies are flocking to you, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, it's nice. He got the black shirt, and it has the Too Clever Mafia on the back, and then it has our podcast logo on the front over the pocket. And it looks good on you. I gotta say, my mug looks good on you. It doesn't look too bad. Yeah. No. Comfortable too, right? Yeah, it's high quality stuff. High quality stuff, folks. Yeah, I ordered another coffee mug. I keep giving out the coffee mugs and giving them away, and I've been ordering a lot of them. So I had one on my desk. I had the last one on my desk, and somebody had asked me for it, and I said, yeah, sure, here you go. It was new. I never used them, but the ones on my desk anyway. I have ones in my cupboard I use, but definitely check over here at Teespring under Tooclevermafia and check out all the wonderful merch we have if you want to give the show some free advertising. Right, AJ? Don't forget to go over to YouTube. We got some of our videos are posting on YouTube. Some conversations are there, and Twitter, obviously. We're getting a lot of stuff, ideas that people are giving us they want me to talk about. And some of the stuff I can talk about. Other things, we're kind of deciding on whether or not we're going to go in that direction or not with the show. Do we want to get political? I don't know. Do I see myself as a political analyst of any kind? No. But, when we talk about the day of, the events of the day and the popular, the pop culture and what's going on, yes, we can. So, want to make sure we're covering all our bases, right? So I think that's all we got for today. Definitely, we like everyone to, if they have the opportunity, to head over our Patreon page. If you'd like to, also again, Too Clever Mafia, you can help support the show if you wish. We'd love to have you. If you have got a couple of pennies and some small change you'd like to donate to the show, we'll take it. At this rate, the amount of money and interest I'm paying on all the equipment that AJ has spent. What's this here? Oh, so here you go. As I'm talking, my fruit watch is is buzzing here. What is it buzzing? What is this here? Let me see. Oh, okay. Here it is. It's you know what I forgot today, AJ? I wanted to talk about something that was near and dear to my heart that I forgot about. Do you know what it was? Do you remember? I think I mentioned it to you in our staff meeting, but I don't really know if I ever wrote it down on anything important. But okay, so real quick. Many years ago, I came across this pen. And this pen is worthy of a shameless plug, but it's called the Bic Velocity, and it's with a 1.6 I guess millimeter tip on it, and it's a black pen. And I said, this is the one of the best pens I've ever had. And sure enough, when I looked it up to buy it, it was literally called the best pen in the universe, or something along those lines. So, if anybody wants to buy the best pen in the universe, head over to Bic, get the Velocity. I don't know what you call it. I guess it's just a Bic Velocity, right? Is that what it says? Yeah. It's a great pen. I love it because it's good for writing on pads and notes. If you're just writing on a piece of paper on a table, it might not be great because it's got if you're handwriting, if you have a tight script, it might not be that great, but definitely check out this Bic Velocity 1.6 pen. I bought a whole box of them, AJ, here. Yeah, I'm actually doodling right as we talk. I'm writing here. I'm making a list of your replacements, AJ. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But anyway, so just wanted to throw that out there every time I come across something that's worthy of a product. Although the little clip on the end keeps breaking off. But I think that's me. That's just my jittering, breaking off the clips. But anyway, let's get out of here, AJ. Why don't you play me an outro? Thank you again, Mafians. Don't forget to support all our social medias and head over to our website, Tooclevermafia.com. I am your host, Tooclevermafia. That's all I have to say about that. Till next time, my Mafians. Bye-bye for now.